Rozella, thank you for joining me today. Let's start with the simple question. Who are you and what do you do?
Hi, thank you for having me. So my name is Rozella White. I go by the moniker of the Love Big Coach. And what I do is help people navigate life and transitions and change using a love ethic. So I say a love ethic is that which allows us or invites us to create, to liberate, and to experience healing that's both individual and collective for the sake of holistic transformation. So short answer is I'm a coach and I coach individuals and organizations. Longer answer is that I'm about nurturing life-giving and justice-giving love in
Mm,
this world.
that's lovely. So as a coach, I can imagine you've got a lot of moving parts in your business. So obviously, we work together now with InboxDone, but before we started working together, what was life like with managing email, your calendar, all those moving parts of a coaching business?
Yeah, I think even using the phrase or term managing is a stretch for what I was doing before. I think before Inbox Done, it was just trying to not even stay on top of things, just trying to find the direction to go in. I don't feel like I was able to prioritize. I feel like I spent all of my time in my inbox. I feel like I know I didn't have any type of standard operating procedures. And also for me, most importantly, I was alone. I was a solopreneur. So I didn't have any type of support to ask, just to bounce things off of, to get other insight in terms of a trusted container. So it really, I felt isolated. And I felt like I knew that I was doing the work that I was supposed to be doing in terms of my coaching writ large, but all of the systems behind the scenes, I think were a mess. And so it reminds me of the James Clear quote of we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems. So I don't know that I was managing as much as I was in a free fall before
Mhm.
inbox.
Okay. It's interesting you mentioned the having people who you can talk to back and forth. I agree that's super important when you're running a company, but that's maybe not necessarily what you would expect from like a virtual assistant. Obviously, if they're going to do your email, they're going to have questions for you about how to do that. So take us through your experience getting to know your email assistants from InboxDone, and then what is it like today working with them, and what does your email look like today?
Yeah, for sure. So Inbox Done blew me away, even on the front end, right? So when I contacted or reached out, inquiring about services, then the whole process was so thoughtful, so well managed, and so invested in making sure that there was a good match between myself and my inbox managers. So even the onboarding conversations or the getting to know me, the me talking through what I need help with, what my growing edges or pains were, what would I ideally like to see. And even in those initial conversations, I learned that Inbox Done was so much more than inbox management, that it started there, right? Because so much of our communication and life flows through our inbox and our calendars. But your team and the folks that you all work with are so highly skilled and gifted that there are so many other things that they could do once kind of inbox is managed well. And so going through the onboarding process and then finally getting to the place where I was assigned my inbox managers, whom I adore. Marie and Legay are such incredible, just supporters, workers, encouragers. We have, I think, a fantastic relationship. It was great to get to know them. And part of who I am, not part of all of who I am, is invested in the people connection. So we actually set up a cadence of team meetings to not just talk about the details, but for us to build trust with each other. And so it's been about 18 months now. And I really consider them as team, I mean, they're invaluable team members for the work that I do. And once they got in my inbox and set up the systems and the processes, I mean, there were things that I didn't even realize were possible in terms of me stepping away from. So when I first started, there was no way that I would have said that I would not be in my inbox all day, every day. And now the system that we've set up is essentially they respond to everything. They're the frontline responders. And then I have a folder where the things that I need to actually look at myself, but I even took email off of my phone, which I never thought I would do because I trust them. We've created a relationship and a connection that is invaluable. And they've proven over and over again that they manage this much better than I do.
Yeah, that's awesome. To get it off your phone is huge. Like, um, uh, last question. Well, maybe two last questions for another coach who's listening to you say this. Might have fears, reservations, concerns. Maybe you can imagine what it was like to be in their shoes before. What would you say to them about making the leap?
Well, I would say first and foremost, so much of our fears stem from either our own feelings of insecurity or our own I use the phrase ego, not because I just think that coaches are just egotistical, but I'm saying ego in terms of the parts of ourselves that we sometimes have to um, push past or push through that have kept us in particular patterns and systems that are no longer serving us, right? So on the front end of my business, I had to do everything on my own. And then I was able to explore some options where I could have team support. But having that team support is only going to work if you trust the folks that you work with and if you're willing to relinquish some things, which that's a hard part, right? Letting go of control, letting go of all of the fears, but also this thought that there is a mistake that could be made that can't be rectified. And at the end of the day, one of the things that I tell my team all the time is that we are not doing brain surgery. I am not an EMT first responder. I am not an open heart surgeon. So, yes, I believe the work I do is important, but nothing is urgent and there is nothing that can't be undone if a mistake is made. And that's also for myself to say, well, if something doesn't go the way that I thought it would, we can always rectify it. And honestly, 99% of the time, everything is perfect or even better than I would have imagined. So I think at the end of the day, right, it's about what is it that you really want? If you want the freedom to do more income generating work yourself, if you want freedom that you're not having to look at all of the things that raise your stress level, or if you want the freedom to not be tied to your email, then you have to ask yourself, what is it that you need to let go of in order to get what you want? Because it's not just enough to say, I want virtual assistant support or inbox management. It's also, I have to let go of some things. Like, how am I getting in the way? And that's a coaching question and
Mm.
modality anyway. So just recognizing that a lot of times the things that we want and that are needed in this season that you're in are on the other side of your fear or the things that you're holding on to. So what is it that you're being invited to let go of so that you can expand and move more fully into the work that you're called to?
I love the way you put that. I feel like we should have you as a coach whenever we're onboarding other coaches, just to, because there is definitely a sense of breaking habits and putting yourself through fear and all these things when you let go of something as important as email. So, Rozella, appreciate the time, appreciate the candid comments. Where can people find you if they want to learn more about you and get in touch?
Absolutely. So I am Love Big Coach across all platforms from LinkedIn to YouTube to Facebook and Instagram. And then my website is my name, RosellaHWhite.com. So don't forget the H, that's my middle initial. And yes, I would love to connect, especially for folks that are seeking not only coaching, and I do life and leadership coaching, but are seeking to really move themselves past the limiting beliefs and mindsets that are keeping them stuck in some ways of being as we co-create what's possible.
That's awesome. Okay. Thank you for the time. And I look forward to keep working with you with InboxDone.
Thank you.